What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Crossroads Podcast, your place to get the latest news, events, and discussion in the world of PlayStation, PC, and Xbox gaming. It's your boy, LeRon, back in the house with Stoy and Andre. Hey, fellas, what's good?
Hello. Hello. How's everyone?
It's okay. It's okay. Like it's a dry start to the week, for me at least.
It's a dry spell.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, you guys doing all right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to, on my end, I'm possibly going to school starting in March, so I'm trying to see how student loans work and all that jazz.
Oof. What do you want to do?
Cool.
Photography.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like, it's a year-long course. It's cut up into 4 parts, and, the whole student loan things, I have zero idea what I'm kind of doing, so I'm kind of just combing through everything and reading all the dots, all the I's, all the T's, all that jazz. Yeah, and it would start in March, so I have like the first half of February to try and figure it out, and then if it doesn't work out in March, there's September. So, but I would like to get into March, so I got that. I actually went to a class. It was like a free orientation class that I could just pop into on Saturday. I went there. It was cool to just be around like-minded people who also share my passion. So that was really interesting to see. Got to talk with some people, the ins and the outs, the pros and the cons, all that jazz. So I'm excited.
I hope that's not expensive, like tuition-wise.
I will.
It just seems like photography is, and you know, if I sound ignorant, I'm sorry, but it seems like photography is kind of like a niche. That seems too much.
I know. That's why I'm still like.
Oh my god.
I know. You're like the 5th person to say that it's like too much, and no one has said like, oh yeah, that's fine. Everyone's been like, whoa, Jesus. I'm like,
yeah, because
well,
and like I said, I speak like photography is like, it's like a hobby that you can turn into a business. So
yeah.
It seems to me like, these are skills you can acquire, maybe, doing extensive Google searches, YouTube, practicing, training.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like,
yeah,
like
it feels
this isn't that far from my
self-taught.
nurse's tuition, from my nursing degree's tuition.
Yeah, and like with the course, it'd be photography, website building, how to grow like a photography business, Adobe, Lightroom, all the programs. So like, it's not just photography, but I understand what you mean in the aspect of like that's a bit steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning the software side, I can definitely see that.
But that's something like you can almost teach yourself, I would think. Like,
yeah, and like that has me thinking like I've gotten to where I am just by YouTube. So it's like,
yeah,
right. I can see the pros and the cons of it. So that's why I'm really like asking like my fiance, my mom. I'm just kind of like, what is the right choice to make here? So, but I did because I went Saturday. I got the application for it for free. Usually it's like $1. It's $100 just the application. Yeah. I know, but
you want to grab every cent out of you.
I got one for free, so they're like, just for showing up, I got one, so I was like, okay, cool. So,
okay,
but yeah, I'm still like kind of at the moment. So,
yeah, well, I mean, like
follow your passion.
Yeah, I was trying to get those words together. That right there, yeah. Well, I definitely want to stay plugged in to like whatever you decide to do on that, man. Because because I know photography is a passion of yours and stuff like that. So like actually like wanting to get like the education around it is
I was talking to a few of my friends just recently, like coaching friends, because they always push for like, if you're within the coaching realm, and I imagine this is the same with every sport, but me personally, I deal with soccer. There's all these coaching licenses, coaching certificates, coaching diplomas, coaching courses, week-long, 3-week online blended courses, all this bullshit that they're shoving your way to say these things that you are going to throw money at is going to make you a better coach. And like, I got to a point where like I did a few licenses. I got to a point where like a lot of people told me, you're good here. You don't need to go anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to maybe push it to be a professional,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe go for that. But that's not even guaranteed. There's coaches out there that are coaching college that don't have the licenses I have, and I coach high school. So this leads me to believe that, you know, I've gotten to a point where I know how to frame a practice session. I know how to do technique training. What more else do I need to learn, with the exception of being just a better communicator or a better manager, so to speak,
Yeah.
which there's
Mhm.
degrees and certifications for that too. Like there's like,
Mm.
take this week-long course or this month-long course on how to be a better communicator. Take this like weekend symposium course of like 5 speakers and costing $2,000. It's asinine. Like what it's almost like a racket these days.
Yeah, and the only reason why there's many reasons why, but one reason why I want to pursue school is because when I was actually looking into like photography work in Vancouver, as in like companies, it was like part-time or full-time, either photography. I have some stuff with Premiere, so videography, all that jazz. Everywhere I looked said at least like you need a year of like schooling. Like it was needed like across the board. So I'm like, fuck, like I can't do anything unless I almost go to school. So I'm like, so
or
like
you just break out on your own, honestly.
yeah, right. So like so I get what you're saying. Like I could learn it all on my own, but it almost seems like I have to go to school in order to work for some. I don't know. So.
Yeah, no, I get that. I didn't know that part. But that makes sense. But still, I guess it depends if you want to work for someone or if you want to work for yourself. I guess that's
yeah. That's what I was getting ready to ask. Like, are you trying to work for somebody?
Well, essentially, if I could be my own boss, that's the end goal. If I have to work with someone or for someone who also shares my passion, that's okay. But in the long term, I want to eventually like be my own freelance person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be my own guy who's like, hey, be like a videographer or like a video editor or like a photographer or all three. Fuck it, or all three, right? So,
yeah.
So that's my end goal. How I get there? At this point, I'm kind of like just going through the motions. I'm like kind of just taking all the fruit by the branches here.
What?
I made that up and I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
I kind of just wrote that.
I
wrote that out so fast.
All right. I was like, grab the fruit and I was like, where's it going with this? Does
Yeah.
he mean grab the bull by the horns?
That's what I kind of meant, but I said fruit. Now in my head, I'm like, Andre, why'd you say fruit?
Must be a Canadian thing. I guess.
Has to be at this point.
Yeah, it is now.
I was gonna say, if not, it is now.
It is now. That's what this episode's title is. Crossroads. We grab the fruit by the branches.
Yeah, there it is. Thumbnail title, LeRon, get on it.
Get on it. Just get a Photoshop picture of Andre just grabbing fruit off the branch right now.
Just doing this.
Greg, give it to me.
Yeah. Nice plump apple in my hand.
Hey, this could be a good Photoshop experience for you there.
Hey,
yeah, right. Make the thumbnail for this week's episode.
I'll do it. I'll work on it.
Okay.
All right. Well, guys, we ready to break into what we've been playing for this past week?
Yeah, sure.
Yeesh.
All right, cool. Who wants to go first?
Man, why can't we just have like I'll go first. For crying out loud, I'll go first.
Wait. Why can't we have a what?
No, I like order. I like an order. Like
you like order? You like order?
Yeah.
Okay, Andre, you start.
Okay,
Andre always goes first.
Yeah, fair enough.
He does.
So, yeah. I usually do.
Okay. I don't really pay attention to it. I don't.
So on the Switch side, Persona 5. I think I've talked about that enough. On the PC side,
oh man, I can't anymore with Persona 5.
Why? What do you mean?
It's too much.
In what sense?
Too much investment or what?
Too much dialogue.
True. There's a lot of talking in that game.
It's
that's the problem with RPGs in general. It's kind of why I like it. Yeah.
is JRPGs. So because I talked about this on my other podcast, the EXP cast, where JRPGs are so dialogue heavy.
Welcome to
And
anime.
And it's useless dialogue. Like, honestly, like when I was playing Tales of Arise, I was so fucking annoyed because I'm like, oh, look, a cutscene. I hope I don't miss anything. Nope. Didn't miss anything.
No, basically, yeah.
And that's what, you know, you got these like 20-hour tutorials, which I had that problem with Xenoblade Chronicles too. But yeah, like, it's too much, man. I stopped playing.
Fair. I've gotten to some points where I'm like, okay, 8. I'm like, let's just go, people. I get it, right? So yeah, so there is Persona 5 on the PC side. Days Gone. I am back in love with that game. I met Stoy's favorite person, Schizo. He's a great guy. We at the Crossroads, we love Schizo. Schizo is our number one favorite.
We do.
This is my last podcast with the Crossroads.
Yeah. See what you did, Andre. See what you did.
Schizo, I do not understand.
You know what made me more mad about him is that I wanted to like him. I wanted to say, like, okay, the man has bad ideas, but he's kind of right though. Like, he's getting somewhere, but he goes about it in a completely wrong way.
Oh yeah, like even today, I just got to the part where I got to the cutscene where you walk into the cabin and it's Iron Mike and Schizo and then Deacon and then Bricky, and they're all talking, and just like Schizo wearing his fucking jacket, the sweater, the basketball jersey, the bandana with the hat. I'm like, I just don't like you. I don't know why. It's like,
you know, that was such a specific costume choice that they did.
Everyone else in the world kind of has the drifter style, and then you have Schizo who looks like Walmart M&M, and I'm like,
yeah,
like why? Why? I don't understand.
They really wanted you to not like that character.
And his attitude, I'm just like, I could punch you in the throat and not feel bad. And then aside from Days Gone, I actually picked up a game. So with my 3060, I actually got a free game. I got Marvel's Midnight Suns. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
I have, and I'm kind of pissed that I don't want to play it.
It's actually pretty fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it's almost... So in battle, and then not in battle. Not in battle, you can free roam, find things, talk to the Avengers people. Excuse me. You can explore, you can upgrade all your gear, that type of thing. When you're in battle, though, is where the game, I think, thrives, because it's almost like a chess game. So you have, in the bottom right, you have a number of cards you can play. So say if it's like 3, you can have 2 redraws, and you can have 1 move. So say I have Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Strange. And I have 4 turns, essentially, to make some damage happen. And I have 5 cards here. I can either redraw 2 of those. I can move only 1 character. And I have 5 attacks, but only 3 turns to play. And then it's the opponent's turn. So it's a really cool concept. Say if there's like a bench right here and bad guys here, I can move Captain Marvel to the bench, and she can kick the bench towards them, and they will get hurt or die. That doesn't cost a move or a card play. So it's really tactical and really strategic, and you can use the field to really essentially not even have to play an attack. I highly suggest you guys check it out. It's called Midnight Suns. It's a great game. I just saw it in my email. I'm like, oh yeah, I have this game. It's free. Fuck it. Sure. I turned it on, and I was like, this game is surprisingly very cool. So.
Yeah, I was really torn because when I heard it was a card-based battle system, I was like, I just not into that.
I didn't know that. And then I booted it up and went, oh, okay. Odd, but I'm here. It was free, so sure.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's fun. I mean, I'm still like the first bit in, so it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, this game has hack. So, but it is it was very different from what I played, so it was a nice little right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all though.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Like, if someone wants to give me that game for free, I'll play it.
Ah,
And
Like, for real, I'll give it a shot.
but other than that, is that it? Persona does yeah, that's all. It's all on my end.
cool. All right, Stoy. Talk to us,
Um,
man.
yeah, I think I talked about this. I jumped back into Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, this is your first time mentioning it.
I forget when I did, because I talked about beating A Plague Tale Requiem, which was a
Yep.
phenomenal game. And then I jumped back into Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a game on my backlog too that I wanted to get back to. So I restarted the game over. Um, that game is really good, and I'm actually really excited for, because that development team like all broke apart after the game.
Really?
Because the game I don't think was a commercial success, which kind of sucked. Andre, what's up?
If I'm not mistaken, did you ever talk about beating it, or did you say you started it and then stopped it?
I started it and I stopped it.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you talked about it. I just couldn't remember if it was you beat it and you're gonna start again, or you stopped it.
Yeah, maybe I was talking about like I'm gonna pick that up again.
I think that's what it was.
I forget. Yeah. So, but no, yeah, so yeah, like say for example, the lead narrative director for that game is actually the lead writer for Mass Effect 5 now. She hopped it over to BioWare. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so yeah, even though the game was phenomenal, the game plays well, it had a great story. It won, I think, won best narrative in
Interesting.
It
2020.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
So by all accounts, it's a great game, but just I think commercially it was,
It just didn't hit the ground at the right spot.
yeah, maybe. And I'm thinking like, because man, the price dropped for that game super quick. Like I paid like $60 for it, and then all of a sudden, like I think a month later, it was like at $30 some cases. Like, man,
If I recall correctly, there was still a bad taste left in everybody's mouth from Marvel's Avengers, and that kind of like not so much sealed the fate of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it really did hurt Guardians of the Galaxy because everybody the people who did play Marvel's Avengers and stuff, they were complaining about it and stuff, and so people already got Marvel game fatigue.
Yeah, maybe
just
because
based on like the bitch fest of Marvel's Avengers.
yeah, and they just announced that they're shutting down Marvel's Avengers with content. No more content.
We will. Yeah,
Um,
we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah. But which was kind of crazy to me because here you got a fully fledged single player narrative driven adventure, action adventure game in Guardians of the Galaxy. But, it's too bad. It's like the combat was very intuitive. You can control all the characters. It has that quirky game, not Game of Thrones, quirky Guardians of the Galaxy humor. Rocket's a pain in the ass like usual. I don't like him in the movies. I never read the comics, but I never liked him in the movies. Did you guys ever? Telltale made a game, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I heard about it, but I never played it. Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Actually, it provided a really good in-depth background on all the characters. Like that's something that I never got from like the movies at all. It was just like you really got a good, like, especially for Rocket, you got to find out like, he was obviously he used to be a person, but then he was kidnapped by the Kree, put through all these battery of tests, and then all of a sudden turned him into a raccoon and just, yeah, it was really good.
The Kree did that to him?
Yeah, Kree fucked him up. They were trying to make, I think they were trying to make super soldiers, and that's what they came up with.
Yeah, wow.
But I mean, by all accounts, he's a engineering genius, and he's a masochist too. He doesn't give a fuck about anything. So, but I think that's the complicated relationship that all the Guardians have, and that's why I've always liked. I think out of all the Marvel movies, I think those movies are one of my favorites because they're all so widely different, but they all have something unique to contribute. So,
yeah.
But otherwise, I picked up Forspoken today. I knocked out a couple hours. Knocked out a couple hours before jumping on here.
How is it?
it's by all accounts, I've heard people like, you know, I think Pat was telling me this from the EXP cast. He told me that reviews are kind of mixed. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. Um, I
It's
say it's
currently
good,
sitting at 69 on Open Critic.
which I think is I think it could be fair.
That's
Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's not.
that's not a bad score, but of course it's not it's not a score that tells people you must buy it.
Well, I'm foreseeing another scenario where maybe the price will drop to like $40 in a month or two because by all accounts Square Enix maybe doesn't think it's a commercial success, even though I think it's a great game. I'm gonna link one thing from you guys. Have you guys ever seen the movie Army of Darkness?
Yes.
It
No.
was with God, I forget his name, but it was one of the sequels to Evil Dead,
Yeah.
and it's cast a guy who was warped through a time warp and transported back in time into the medieval era to fight this rising evil. And he's like this, everybody's talking in old English, whatever, and he's walking around like talking in like modern day slang. So that's what this game is like. Like I was playing it and I was like, this is like Army of Darkness, you know. Bruce Campbell, that's his name.
Thank you. I was literally Googling it. I'm like, what's his name? What's his name?
Yeah,
Bruce
no,
Campbell.
I finally figured it out because he
Oh
had a
my
lot.
God.
He had a lot of really good one-liners in that movie. It was good.
I'm sitting here thinking you were talking about a different person, and you've been talking about Bruce Campbell this whole time.
What
Yeah, from
do you know? Do you know the
Spider-Man.
movie I'm talking about?
I know what movie you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was sitting there like, what other character is he talking about in Army of Darkness?
Oh, okay.
I was
No,
thinking you
yeah.
were talking about somebody else that wasn't Bruce Campbell.
No. So yeah, basically you're this 21-year-old black female living in Hell's Kitchen, and you were a product of the foster system because she was dumped as a baby in some subway station, whatever. And so she's had a rough upbringing, lives a life of crime, whatever. Finds out finds this bracelet, gets teleported through this portal to this like it's not like old English. It's not like she gets ported back in time. She literally, I think, gets ported to another planet. And there's some shit going on where like the whole world is like a desolate, barren wasteland, and there's a city that's kind of the protector of everything that's happening around. So yeah, you get caught because people think you're a heretic. They're about to kill you. You escape.
She's a witch killer.
Yeah, basically that's kind of what it is because it's like she just kind of shows up out of nowhere in flannel shirt, tight jeans,
She's like,
sneakers.
she's like, what's up, y'all? The killer.
Yeah, no, literally, that's kind of what it is because she's got this like, the reason why I set up the character is she has this like young, exuberant, like she's from the fucking like Hell's Kitchen. She's from downtown, like the bottom of the barrel. She lives in a dingy apartment, so she's gonna talk like an angsty 21-year-old. She's gonna say "fuck you, you asshole," this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Oh, right.
yeah. She's got that attitude because I think I read one account that someone said there's a lot of swearing in this game, and it's like, well, what do you think a 21-year-old girl from the gritty part of New York is gonna be saying?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just
Talk about trust issues.
yeah, and honestly, it's like it's kind of jarring at first because
Just because it's so much of it.
yeah, it really it's not so much of it. It's just like when she starts interacting with the people in this world, like like she said some things where she's like talking about her kicks, and they're like, okay, I don't know what that means. Or she says something like so like in the world they call it the break, which is basically this kind of like I don't know what to say, but it's like it looks it looks otherworldly, and basically anything that gets caught up in the break, which is like a mist or a fog or whatever you want to call it, it kind of like breaks things. It breaks buildings, it breaks people, it kills people. So she's like, I call it so what's up with all this break shit that's happening outside the city walls? So like this woman that she's talking to, she's like, it seems like you could survive well out there in the break shit. It's like, no, that's not what I meant, but
That's hilarious. Yeah. So just
yeah,
the interaction between her and the world is so hilarious because like it's like a complete 540 essentially.
yeah, it really is. And I think
Yeah.
that, I can understand how that could kind of maybe dislodge a little bit of people to maybe think it's kind of annoying or maybe it's kind of abrasive,
Mhm.
but
I
like,
think I think what it is, they're not used to that amount of swearing in a Square Enix game. I think that's what it is.
yeah, I mean, this is the same studio that made Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah, and a lot of a lot of people, like they, and you see that's the other problem that kind of, it's kind of why I'm not really all that in, like I'm not so much like amped for this game just yet, because like I mean like I feel like Square Enix never takes like the stuff seriously if it's not a if it doesn't have Final Fantasy somewhere in the name.
now,
And
go ahead, keep going.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, it hasn't gotten the draw for me yet, and then everything I've seen on it just it doesn't look like it's calling my name, and it's an RPG, so like it already had one strike against it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I got to an open world segment because I have to go do something, and it's not like it's not like a wide open world. Obviously, it's kind of like little hub areas or whatever. But um, it's not to say that the writing is not taking it seriously. It's her character. It's who she is.
Mhm.
Now, whether you identify with that kind of character or not is, obviously based on your own personal preference. But I was like really thinking about it, like during the game, playing the game, and I was like, man, it is kind of abrasive, but it's who she is. It's who she
Yeah,
is. It's the backstory that they gave her. It's, she's pissed off the world. She's pissed off the system. There's a lot of things in her life working against her. She has a lot of moments of vulnerability where she just like she can't take it. Like she's there, there was a scene in her apartment where she literally broke down, and she has a lot of these soft spots, but obviously, when she's in front of people, she's trying to project this kind of era of confidence or obviously mistrust. She doesn't trust anybody so easily. So, um, you know, you've heard me say this before. I'm drawn by good main characters. So, as far as I'm experiencing right now, the more I'm playing it, the more I'm drawn to her because she wants to do the right thing, but she's just, she's so distrustful. So,
mhm.
or mistrusting, I should say. But yeah, like I mean, you're using your spells. You're basically shooting things out of your hand. You got this bracelet that's like talking to you. It's like this kind of like sassy English guy. Um, and they kind of have banter back and forth, a lot of banter back and forth. But it's I don't think it's overplayed, but that's my opinion. But yeah, so like you're shooting things out of your hands. Um, Kind of like Ghostwire Tokyo. Anybody ever play Ghostwire Tokyo?
I've
I
seen
You guys
have.
don't play
gameplay.
fucking video games. What am I talking
I
about?
I just said I have.
But yeah, you're shooting things out of your hands, kind of like that, and you have different like elemental abilities or whatever. But yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I like it. Graphically it looks great. Gameplay is fun. The parkour stuff is actually takes some getting used
Wait,
to. Like
so it does look like a good game, because like I saw the Digital Foundry breakdown of the game, and I was like, oh, this does not look good.
it's very heavy on HDR. It's very bright.
Hmm. But
I'm playing.
also,
I'm playing in ray tracing mode,
uh huh.
so I think that means it's running at a stable 30 frames a second. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any dips,
Uh-huh.
but like I said, just as long as the game looks and runs and plays good, 30 frames a second is no. I don't have a problem at all with that.
Yeah. It's those particle
You
effects that are
hear that?
killing me.
Yeah. I had to fight a dragon, and it had this weird negative filter effect where like that was ugly to look at. I'll give it that. Like it had this like weird. It's like the break, the fog that envelops the world.
Hmm.
That was difficult to look at when I was fighting the dragon, and it was just like kind of like all these shades of blue that just covered the screen. And for me, I'm just like, ugh. I mean, I hate it when games do that. There's a lot of games do that where it's like overly saturated to one color. You know, a lot of games do that with reds where it just looks jarring. But yeah.
All right.
Other than that, I like it. Crucify me in the fucking comments. I don't care.
All right.
At Stoy.
Yeah. You can at me. I don't care. You don't have to like it. That's okay. I will sit here and enjoy my coffee.
All right. Anything? Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Cool. Well, you guys will be happy with me.
That's a first.
I beat Uncharted 4 last night.
Holy fuck!
Wow.
So 2023 is off to a good start for me. I've beaten 2 games this year.
What'd you think about the ending?
I like the ending, but I don't know, like it. I don't know, like I like the ending. Like I knew how the game was going to end. We were going to see Drake and Elena's daughter. I knew that.
Oh, spoiler, dude. I'm just kidding.
Come on, game's like 5 years old.
At this point, no, it's older than 5 years. Like it's closer to the Last of Us age than it is like to like whatever the hell most recent game came out. But anyway, yeah, but yeah, like I enjoyed the ending. It was nice, like seeing the treasure trove. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that game had no reason being that fucking long though. No reason whatsoever. 22 chapters? 22 chapters and a prologue? Come on, guys. That game had too much in there, The fight against what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Like your rival. I'm forgetting his fucking name.
Yeah, what is
the whole sword fighting thing was cool till it wasn't cool.
Is it Nate?
Too bad.
Is it Nate?
No, Nate is the main guy, man.
No. Why is I can remember? See, that's the problem. Like the other dude, the other bad guy, like he's forgettable compared to Nadine.
What's his name? Oh my!
I can't remember. If you guys are looking him up, that would be a tremendous help. But yeah, like honestly, like the game was good. The game was good. Like I know for sure, like the length of the game is
Rafe.
Rafe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is interesting because I always called him Wraith. But then when I Wikipedia'd it, it's RAFE. So, all right. I learned something today.
Yeah, ultimately, like the game's length is what turned me off the last time I was playing it, and it almost turned me off again because I knew I was at the end of the game, but the end of the game was like three more damn chapters, and I'm like, come on, come on, yeah. So but I do like how it was like we have no idea what happened to Nadine after like she like dipped out, and that is cool because like to the people who are looking forward to in the future, like there's a game featuring her, an Uncharted game featuring her, which is cool. So I enjoyed it overall. I give it a solid A. It's not my favorite Uncharted in the entire series, but I enjoyed it.
I think mine's the first one.
Mine's the second one.
Mine is the fourth one.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the length was good. I think there was, I don't know. I thought the content was fine. I know sometimes I complain about long games, but I think that game had a lot of story to tell. What always boggles me about the Uncharted series is like the puzzles. Like when you get to the island at the end, it's just like that was a long section. Like I'll give it that, but I was like, how did these guys in the 1600s or 1300s, whenever the fuck it was, decided, hey, let's make these elaborate ass puzzles to find your way to this large ass city, this large ass town on this one island? Like it was just like, who comes up with this shit? But that's how these like Tomb Raider games kind of operate, where it's like, no one does this in real life.
Yeah, I think what I go on. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I think Sam and Nate like kind of explained that pretty well. Part of that treasure, like they paid for like all these engineers, these architects, to create that city,
and
so
they were
like that,
paranoid.
And they were all paranoid because, man, like the twist, the twist with the with how the pirates ended up. That was I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming exactly the way it did. So, I was like, oh, so of course, like this is how it would happen, things like that, I'm not trying to give too many spoilers away and stuff like that for people who haven't played it in this day and age yet. It is available. I was playing it on the PC, so it is available for PC right now. The Legacy of Thieves collection. But I enjoyed it.
I hope they're working on another one. I really do.
Another Uncharted.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question.
I think we're gonna ask the same question because my question is, actually, two things. One, I think that's my favorite thing about Uncharted games is just the puzzles are so like, who would think of this? But at the same time, it's like, God, that is so good. Because when you get it done, you're like, God, that is so good how they did that. But same
like a smart motherfucker.
Yeah, but same time, it's like, how the fuck did you guys figure this out in 1602? You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
Right? And then my question for you guys is, now that you're done, LeRon, if they were to continue it, who do you think would be the main protagonist? Would be Nate or his daughter, or the family would just be it?
I feel like with the way they showed Jake and Elena off, like they're old to the point where they definitely don't want to do it again. So it will probably wind up falling on Cassandra.
But do you think they would want that for her?
No, they wouldn't want that for her because the way they were trying to hide everything about their former lives, to allude to the fact that they didn't want her, they don't want her in that life.
That her dad's a serial murderer. He's killed thousands of people in his life.
Right? Yeah.
You think she knows that?
Yeah, because
Dad, you killed people, a lot of people.
Yeah, because like even in that prologue, it made it seem like Sully and Sam got out of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
no, Cassandra, I just collect artifacts. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I'm just a swashbuckling adventurer out to sail the seas.
And this, I can't remember. Did they say how old she was?
12, I think. She looked 12.
12? Okay, so that means everybody else is 12 years older too. So we're talking about Chloe, we're talking about Nadine, all those people. Even Cutter, who is my favorite character from Uncharted 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could see, there could be an interesting story dynamic. You got Cassandra coming up and, following in her father's footsteps and wanting to go on this adventure. And, Nate kind of gets involved in the picture and says, this is too dangerous. You know what it's like, kind of like, I see the resemblance. Now that I'm explaining it, I'm almost telling the story of Kratos and Atreus. Is that Cassandra could have a dynamic where she wants to go out and do the thing, but like Nate's trying to pull her back, but then realizes, well, I can't really stop her, can I? Because I was like this.
True. And he even would lie to Elena to go out and do things. So at the same time, he can't be like, how dare you lie?
Bro, that scene, that scene where he's in the hotel room and he's like, yeah, they got us.
Oh, he opened the door?
No. That was the first scene. With the first scene where he's like talking to her, he's like, yeah, they got us here for another couple weeks. Yeah, I'm not gonna be back. Bad weather, whatever. And it's like everybody's looking at him like, bro, you are lying to your wife right now. No, it's fine. It's fine. Totally fine. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye. Click. Like, dude did that so nonchalant.
It's like he did it so well. It's like he's done this before. You know it for sure.
Yeah, he's lied to her on numerous times. He came back home after that adventure, and she's like, "Okay, so tell me all the times that you lied."
Yeah. And how much you want to bet when like when he hung up, she was like, "He's lying for sure.
He's a fuck. I know what he's up. He probably knew. That's when she booked the ticket. That's when
I was about to say. It's just like.
She was on the phone buying the ticket. She was like that.
It's just like the Incredibles. It's just like the Incredibles when Helen found out that Bob was like fucking around off of some island. She immediately like grabbed the plane and was gone.
Yeah.
And of course, what happened? The kids, hid and followed along.
Listen, man, women know when you're lying.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Anytime. So it's like, she was probably like, I'm buying tickets right now.
So
and that was a really good scene where all of a sudden they walk in there and he's like all excited, he's amped up, and all of a sudden there she is sitting there and
Wasn't he talking about it too? He's like, "Oh man, that explosion was so sick." Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like, yeah,
they were kind of bragging, and then it was funny because the look on his face when like he saw her he might as well just been in bed with another woman.
Yep.
And got caught.
Yeah,
Well,
so good.
I mean, lying is lying.
Right? Yeah. But I definitely enjoyed it. I've got a couple of days to figure out what I'm going to do with myself before Dead Space happens, because that's going to be my thing. And I don't know when I'm going to. Huh?
Play the original.
No, I don't want to play the original. I don't want to play the original. Not right now. I don't want to play the original. I want to play this remake. I want to play this remake, and then I want to go back and play the original to spot the differences. Like I don't want to be sitting in there in awe because I just freshly played the original game, and then be sitting in there and like just wasting time. Like, oh, this is so different. I just want to get in, like get with the adventure, and then go back, play the original, and be like, this is some new shit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's just me. That's also why I'm not playing The Last of Us Part 1 right now while I'm watching the show. I'm going to wait for the show to end, then I'm going to play. No, I'm going to wait for the season to end, then I'm going to play The Last of Us Part 1.
Smart.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. Never mind.
No. Say it, man. Say it. I want to hear it.
I feel like it has to do something with The Last of Us show.
What are you going to say? What are you going to say?
Am I right? I
Not
feel
gonna say anything.
I feel like I'm right.
Not gonna make a big thing about it.
It won't be that big of a thing to me. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of this segment. Shall we move on to notable games for the week?
Nope.
Andre's like, I want to hear the
big thing about that either.
Andre's like, I want to hear the goddamn question. All right, we'll move on. All right, so to go ahead and kick things off, here's a rundown of the new and notable games coming out this week, the week of the 23rd of January to the 29th of January. All I got to say here to line this up is we've got huge releases arriving this week for PlayStation 5 as well as some other platforms with a carryover title from Square Enix that basically Stoy has already talked about, that was supposed to have been released last year, and of course a survival horror classic that everyone has been waiting for in this remade version. Here we go. The notable games for this week. Andre, you want to kick it off? Or you want me to start?
Excuse me. I'll start. So
Okay.
The first one being today, Tuesday. Stoy already talked about it for Spoken, so I won't really go into depth about that because Stoy already kind of talked about it. The second one being Warlander. It's an MMO. It's for the PC. I'm going to say that before I start because I always forget to say what system it's for. Up to 100 players will be able to join up and battle it out as part of 2 or 5 armies in skirmishes and castle sieges with the goal of breaking into the opponent's stronghold and destroying its core. Playing either as a warrior, a cleric, or a mage, with their own unique set of skills, players will have the option to build up decks of finely customized characters for the battle ahead. This includes skill and ability customization as well as visual ones to help characters stand out in the heat of battle. There will be 2 game modes available at launch. First, a 2-team mode with up to 40 players and a 5-team mode with up to 100 players. Damn. Neptune.
And just as a quick reminder, For Spoken is available now for PlayStation 5 and PC.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. And Neptune Sisters vs. Sisters, the role-playing game. It's for the PlayStation and PC. And Risen RPG for the PlayStation and Xbox.
Such a weird game to bring back.
Risen? Yeah.
I don't remember anybody playing that game when it first came out.
Me neither. Wednesday, January 25th, we have Transruby. All right. Platformer for the PC. Number 2, Clunky Hero. Clunky Hero is a story-driven platformer.
Metroidvania.
Game. Metroidvania.
Okay. Metroidvania. I was just like, I am stuck. with a touch of RPG, hack and slash. And
telling you,
tons
every
of
indie game is a Metroidvania these days. Like it should, you shouldn't even call them indie games anymore. You should just call it Metroidvania.
Metroidvania.
Because that's all because it's a blend of Metroid and Castlevania.
Oh, makes sense.
Get it? Yeah.
Metroidvania. It's
So
like
every side,
like a new genre.
Every side-scrolling action platformer that
basically
you see
is a Metroidvania.
is a Metroidvania, and every goddamn indie company's doing it. Not everyone. I shouldn't say that.
Most people, though.
But a lot. There's a lot of you out there.
There's a lot of you Metroidvanias. If you'd love a platformer game where you have a funny storyline, can talk with characters, solve side quests, find and buy items, change weapons and wearables with great hand-drawn looking backgrounds presented in a very comical way, then Clunky Hero might be the game for you. Available on all platforms. Number 3, The Dark Side of the Moon. Pretty sure that's a song or an album and a movie. In an uninteractive FMV thriller indie for the Xbox. Number 4.
Hey, can we pause for a second real fast?
Yo.
What is the deal with these FMV games all of a sudden? Like
what the hell is FMV?
Full motion video. Remember back.
back.
Remember the old school games where like you would play what was legit a video game, and then all of a sudden you'd have a real movie clip for your intermission scene. Actually, Andre's kind of young. He might not remember that.
Well, this they're literally like interactive movies. So like you're watching a movie and you're literally interacting with the screen as it happens. Go take the right path, take the left path, or even like picking what you say.
Yeah, I might be too young for that, actually.
Yeah. This was a big thing, I would say, in the late 90s when games got on CD-ROMs.
Oh, yeah, I was probably just born then.
One of my favorite ones was actually the X-Files. The X-Files had a FM.
Oh, I remember that. I used to watch my dad play that, and I swear to God, it was like he was playing the TV show, but he could pick things. Yes, okay. I remember that.
I was going to say, Andre's not that young. He had
my favorites from that era would be Dracula Unleashed and Sewer Shark.
Sewer Shark, yeah.
Sewer Shark. What the now
Sega CD. That's Sega CD. That's Sega CD.
Now my age is really showing.
Yeah. All right, continue.
In handyman cooperation, you become the owner of a business where you handle a variety of jobs in cleaning, maintenance, design, and construction. Accept contracts, play mini games to perform every task required. Then expand your company, buy spare parts, tools, train skills, and manage employees for the PC. Number 5, we have Kingdom Rush. Thursday, January 26th.
Hang on, let's go back. This is like House Flipper times 20.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you can fix refrigerators. You can fix computers. You can iron a rug. I can't believe you just like glazed over it like it's no big deal.
Because
like it's just like whatever. I'm just going through this list.
I think I've rubbed off on Andre because like when Andre sees an obvious dad sim, he tries to get out of it immediately.
I know, and I think he did that on purpose. I think he did that on purpose because he's like, oh, shit, Handyman Corporation, blah blah blah. You're a handyman. Anyway, next time, moving on.
Yeah, Story's like, whoa.
Hang on. Let's go back here.
Thursday the 26th, there was 16 games. I'm not reading every single game. I'm sorry. First one, Wonder Boy Anniversary Collection, platform and PlayStation. Number 2, Shoulders of Giants, Adventure, Xbox and PC. Number 3, Death in the Water 2, first-person shooter, PC. Number 4, Startup Company, Console Edition, Simulation, PlayStation and Xbox. Number 5,
let's go and talk about Startup Company Console Edition. It's a simulator game where you can actually start your own tech company. How fucking amazing is that? You wanted to start your own business but don't have the money? Just buy this game. You create social media accounts.
I was so close.
You can create a marketing campaign. Dude, you could be the CEO of your own company.
I was so close to getting through it.
I know, man. I know.
No, you can't get this.
Nothing gets past Stoy. Like Stoy is a teacher. Like we're never going to be as slick as those kids that he coaches. We're never going to be that slick.
Never.
Stoy is definitely Snape from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs Legions. Do I even have to like explain what this game is?
You don't.
No.
It's
Okay,
it's
yeah,
finally
I'm
making
like,
it's finally making its way to PC through
okay,
Steam.
then you know what this is. All right.
All right, hold on. I hold on, Junior.
Okay.
I got
Oh,
this
you
one.
know
I
he
got
has to
this
do
one.
this one. You know
I
he has to
got
do
this one.
I had something planned for this one. Okay. All right. Fine.
Well, you follow it up after I say what I got to say. All right. So Friday, the 27th of January, ladies and gentlemen, it's Unitology Day as far as I'm concerned because the Dead Space 2023 remake is here. You guys better know it's a survival horror game. You guys better know it's a sci-fi third-person shooter. You guys better know it's a psychological drama game. But yeah, this sci-fi survival horror classic that is known as Dead Space is returning, completely rebuilt from the ground up to offer a deeper and more immersive experience. This remake brings jaw-dropping visual fidelity, suspenseful atmospheric audio, and improvements to gameplay while staying faithful to the original game's thrilling vision. Isaac Clarke is an everyman engineer on a mission to repair a vast mining ship, that ship known as the USG Ishimura. Like I'm already getting the heebie-jeebies just saying the name. Only to discover something has gone horribly wrong. The ship's crew has been slaughtered, and Isaac's beloved partner Nicole is lost somewhere on board. Now alone and armed with only his engineering tools and skills, Isaac races to find Nicole as the nightmarish mystery of what happened aboard the Ishimura unravels around him. Trapped with hostile creatures called necromorphs, Isaac faces a battle for survival, not only against the escalating terrors of the ship, but his own crumbling sanity. Dead Space is coming to PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X. I'm sorry. We love it because it's a truly next gen title. We love it. We love it.
Thank you for giving us next gen experiences.
The year is 2008. You boot up Dead Space for the first time. It's dark. It's quiet. You're Isaac Clarke on the Ishimura. You simply are a simple man just trying to make his way. Your girlfriend is calling you. You don't know where she is. You're walking down the hallway. Shadow runs by a door. You stop. You're like, your breathing's heavy. You don't know what to think. All of a sudden, you hear something behind you. You turn around, it's nothing. You continue walking. I want you to just remember that when you start this game up again, because it's that same feeling escalated. There you go.
Yo,
That was some true ASMR shit that made me.
That's what I was gonna read that whole thing like that.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna do, but then I'm like, oh, okay, this is LeRon's game. I'll give it to him. But that's what I was gonna read that whole thing like that.
I just realized something though, right? Because like you guys know, I just got through playing Callisto Protocol, and you remember how I was telling you how like I was freaked out playing with ray traced effects and all that stuff because like the shadows are just like fucking nuts.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god!
No.
Oh my god! And now we're on the goddamn Ishimura with ray tracing.
Every shadow is just
I just love beating myself up. I just love it. Yeah, I had to go to the Steam page right now just to look. I cannot preload the game just yet. Damn it! Why must you torture me? And I need to go ahead and uninstall Callisto Protocol.
Stoy, for some reason, I thought when you walked away, I thought you were going to grab the Dead Space helmet and come back and put it on. I don't know.
I wish.
I have no idea why. I'm like, you want to grab that?
No. I'm getting a weird crackling in my headphones, and I thought it was my headphones that I was wearing, and now I put these on, and the crackling is still there. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh well.
But yeah, I'm like, for some reason, I'm like, is he going to grab the helmet?
No, that would have been cool. That would have been cool.
All right. Also on the 27th of January, we have Dance of Death, Duloc and Fae, which is an adventure game coming to Xbox, and Alice Escape, which is a platformer game coming to PC, where Alice Escape is an exploratory and stylistic Metroidvania action. Metroidvania, there's that word again.
There it is again.
Where two girls, Usada and Katara, travel through a wonderland following Alice, their missing friend. Despite its cute appearance, this battle scene is rich and exhilarating. that's kind of a weird sentence to drop it off on, but yeah, that's it. Alice Escaped actually looks pretty good though. It looks like a new rendition of Alice in Wonderland, but it's a platformer, and the graphics are pretty freaking nice if you like the old 2D sprites and all that stuff. Like, so there you go.
It has anime girls in maid outfits. That's all you have to know. That's it. That's literally all you have to know. So I'm getting it.
Including what was mentioned in this by us in this segment. This week featured over 33 games released across all platforms. As a courtesy, we want to remember all release dates are subject to change, so the Crossroads crew is not responsible for any games that may get delayed and or canceled, and I will riot if something happens on the 27th and Dead Space is not released on time. I will riot.
LeRon will throw a fit.
Yes, I will. I want it. Okay, well, it's time to go ahead and break into this week's news and topics, and I'm just going to go ahead and just set this whole thing up for you. Like I'm not sure if we should call it This Week in Phil Spencer News or we should just call it This Week in Xbox, because this entire show is going to feel like an Xbox show because there is no real news across the other platforms, PC, PlayStation. It's funny. I think PlayStation was being very quiet this past week. I think they were, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with our news. And first up, we're going to talk about Phil Spencer. Particularly Phil Spencer saying that game companies must turn away from dividing players and creators. All right. So while speaking at the 12th annual New York Game Awards, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago on previous episode Crossroads, Phil Spencer used his acceptance speech for the Andrew Ewan Memorial Legend Award to state his opinion that game companies have a responsibility to ensure that players and developers aren't divided and are instead united. This is kind of funny, right? Given everything that's been going on in the gaming in the gaming environment right now. Stressing the need for video games to bring joy at a time when there is more despair in the world, Spencer stated that the onus is on business leaders to ensure players receive this joy instead of experiencing more negativity. Just hold on to that. Spencer's call for unity comes amidst Microsoft's battle to appease concerns for regulators and some industry leaders over Xbox's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In an interview with the Second Request podcast in December, the Xbox exec claimed that Sony was the one major opposer to the Microsoft Activision deal. However, despite concerns Microsoft could leverage Activision's hugely successful Call of Duty franchise and remove it from rival platforms, the company has publicly pledged to keep the series on rival platforms, which kind of slides us. We'll be pivoting back to this in a few minutes. But also in other Phil Spencer news, we have Phil Spencer tells Xbox employees that the layoffs were indeed painful. I'm pretty sure everybody out here that's listening to us right now or watching us on YouTube knows that Microsoft had a big shakeup and they laid off a workforce of estimated 10,000 people. And yeah, while it's not related to our previous topic, the Phil Spencer train is running full steam ahead, pretty much. Microsoft's head of gaming, Phil Spencer, has addressed this week's round of job cuts at the company, telling staff that they were painful choices. This followed the news and subsequent events in which Microsoft laid off approximately 4.5% of the U.S. technology's giant 220,000 person workforce. Like I said, around 10,000 people were laid off. This affected the company's gaming divisions, in particular Halo developer 343 Industries, Bethesda Game Studios, and marketing. Now, Bethesda, I have concerns, but whatever. This past Friday, Phil Spencer sent out a company-wide email, which was obtained and published by Kotaku. This is one of the few times I'm like, yay, Kotaku. In which he told employees that the cuts would set up for long-term success. There we go. In the email, Spencer also said, this is a challenging moment in our business, and this week's actions were painful choices. The gaming leadership team had to make decisions that we felt set us up for the long-term success of our products and business, but the individual results of those decisions are real. I know that hurts. Thank you for supporting our colleagues as they process these changes. Microsoft claimed that these cuts were being made in response to macroeconomic conditions and the changing customer priorities. But according to a Business Insider report that was published on the same day, the company was deliberately targeting who it believed to be underperforming employees in at least some parts of the company.
Well, that's every company that does layoffs.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Every company, I got laid off once before because I was an underperforming employee because I had more write-ups than my other contemporaries. So naturally, when the company decided to do layoffs, they picked at us.
No, you were a jackass if you had that many write-ups.
I called in too many times.
Okay, so ultimately, the only thing that kind of bugs me is like like they just recently acquired ZeniMax, Bethesda, and stuff like that. You're telling me these job cuts and these layoffs to at least that part of the company could have been done before the merger happened. They could have given these guys severance packages, before they got to the company. I'm not one of those bleeding hearts that will oh, well, you shouldn't have fired those people and stuff like that. But sometimes I always gotta say, you gotta do things correctly.
And they did here. They did here. I'm going to be the devil's advocate here that Microsoft saw 36% growth during COVID because of all the demands placed on tech companies. And most of these tech layoffs were because of the pandemic. Everybody shifted to new working conditions, new working styles. A lot more people were working from home, so they needed cloud infrastructure. They needed web-based infrastructure. So they laid off a lot of these tech companies. Google just laid off, I think, Amazon laid off like 18,000. I think Google laid off just as much, maybe 12,000. But all these companies are laying it off because now they're starting to see that bubble burst to where, things are kind of going back to normal. So these jobs are kind of redundant now. So I don't think I don't think Microsoft is, obviously it hurts. And I believe Phil Spencer and I believe the companies that say this, but they were every time business and economics goes up, it goes down. So,
oh yeah, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not going to argue with you on this because I understand because I run a business myself. I understand, but I just feel like sometimes timing is kind of bad, because I guarantee you if the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, we're gonna see a brand new set of news like a year or two into it, hey, layoffs again, stuff like that. It's like, and my whole thing
hiring.
There could be that too because they gotta keep all these projects going somewhere somehow. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, my whole thing is if it's divisions where it's no longer a need for, I understand, but
which is where the primary majority of those layoffs were from.
The majority, yeah, but they hear 343 Industries getting hit. Well, 343 Industries.
Well, we all know why that is.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But Bethesda, what gives, especially given
what has Bethesda done in the last 2 years, honestly?
Well, here's the thing though, Microsoft's behind the 8 ball right now as far as games and stuff, and everything that seems to be have been put on the back burner and stuff was all Bethesda stuff that got caught up got caught up in this freaking merger and all this stuff. Hell, there are rumors right now that Starfield's getting pushed back again. There's no confirmation of that, but there's rumors that it's getting pushed back again. And we have that developer direct happening tomorrow, the 25th of January. And we don't even know we don't even have a solid release date for Redfall.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah, I do.
No.
I thought it was in June.
Is it June?
Yeah.
Please look it up. Because I don't think I've seen anything concrete on it. But ultimately,
May 2nd.
Who?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. That sounds like an imaginary date. Hold on.
I don't know.
May 2nd.
That's
May 2nd is a Tuesday. Okay. All right. Yeah, it sounds so close to the weekend that I was like,
The one thing I always think with especially with the Bethesda ones, obviously we don't know what specific positions were, but Starfall could, for example, if it's development teams that were working on Starfall, for example, development teams could be at a point where the game is pretty close to being released, or way past the alpha stage to the point where some staff could be redundant. It could be we're so far into QA testing that we don't need a team of 200 QA testers, or we don't need a team of environmental artists on this game when we've got all our environmental art done. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying there's a lot of variables that I like to look into with to maybe kind of give credence to that. I don't like I said, unless you're like a piece of shit, it's hard to just kind of like all of a sudden like go through a stack of papers of all your employees and try to pick out which ones you need to get rid of, because you gotta get rid of it. I don't envy anybody that has to do that, but there's there's good reasons for everything. Like I said, I kind of Googled it while we were talking, but like, Spotify just laid off a bunch of people. Goldman Sachs laid off 3,000 people. Google, 12,000. Amazon, 18,000. Salesforce, 8,000. Like it's hitting everybody. Oh, Amazon laid off 2 rounds.
Yeah,
in
they did 2
November
rounds.
in November they laid off another 10,000.
Yep. Yeah. All right, but yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to our next news topic here. I know it's so laughable sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So we've got 343 reaffirming their commitment to future Halo content following the job cuts that just happened at Microsoft. The studio says it will continue to work on epic stories, multiplayer, and more. 343 Industries has assured fans that it will continue to develop future Halo content after the studio was hit with significant staff cuts this past week. This led to speculation that 343 could be downsizing its commitment on Halo Infinite content, or even outsourcing future development entirely. This past Saturday, 343 appeared to address those speculations directly with a statement published on its social media accounts. In the statement, it said, "Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 Industries will continue to develop Halo now and in the future, including epic stories, multiplayer, and more of what makes Halo great." Prior to the layoff news, 343 Industries had seen a number of major senior departures, including its multiplayer creative director, its director of engineering, and Bonnie Ross, who was the head of the studio for 15 years. Coinciding with the news, it is also reported that Halo veteran and head of creative Joseph Staten is leaving 343 to rejoin Xbox Game Studios Publishing. Following layoffs, several former 343 staff criticized Microsoft for its part in Halo Infinite's rocky development. One critic out of all of them, that being Patrick Wren, who worked for 343 for 8 years and was the senior multiplayer designer on Halo Infinite before leaving in October 2021 to join Respawn to work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Wow, this is a lot. Had this to say.
Yeah, you're reading the whole article, aren't you?
It feels like it, yeah. I mean, it's all pertinent, I feel. The layoffs of 343 shouldn't have happened, and Halo Infinite should be in a better state. The reason for both of those things is incompetent leadership up top during Halo Infinite development, causing massive stress on those working hard to make Halo the best that it can be. Halo Infinite has had a troubled production, to say the least, suffering various delays and changes in leadership in the years leading up to its December 2021 release and since. Okay, so I'm just going to frame this question to the whole thing that we just got through talking about, the last 3 topics. Do you 343 Industries? Do you think it's a failure of leadership? Or do you think something else is going on behind the scenes? Do you think they were in over their heads on this? Because Halo Infinite is not the first Halo game they've done, right? Didn't they do Halo 4?
They did Halo 4, Halo 5, and yeah.
Wait, I thought Infinite was 5.
No.
It's not 5? Okay.
No. 4, and then 5 was 4, and then 5 is with Locke's team. So you play as Spartan Locke and his team, and then Chief and his team, and then Infinite.
Okay. All right. So
I thought you meant developer. Sorry.
Yeah. I I kind of already said my piece about the whole like layoffs and things like that. And Stoy gave me a lot of like counterpoints to it, which is cool. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just look at this. Microsoft had to do what it had to do. I will say that. Um, I don't know. I just feel like this is a company that at least in their gaming division they couldn't afford to do this, in my opinion, because like for the last 2 years everybody's been like, "Where's the games?" And and now like what's going to happen is like a lot of people's faith are going to be shook because like how are they going to bring out games they have if they're cutting staff? Like yeah, like the games they may have right now are ready to go and stuff like that. But what about the future? But Stoy also mentioned that we will probably
You're
see a hiring
speculating
spree.
so much. You're speculating so much.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just padding time here for the podcast. Do we want to move on? We want to move on, don't we?
No, like I
But
mean, okay.
all right. Still keeping up with the Microsoft thing here. Microsoft has subpoenaed PlayStation for its defense against the FTC lawsuit. Woo boy, it's starting to heat up now. All right, so the Xbox's parent company wants Sony to divulge information on its business. Microsoft has served Sony Interactive Entertainment with a subpoena, and it looks to build its defense against the FTC lawsuit. According to a court filing, the company wants Sony to divulge information it believes is relevant to its case, which may include confidential details that Sony would be reluctant to share with its rival if possible. In a quote, negotiations between Sony Interactive Entertainment and Microsoft as to the scope of SIE's production and discovery schedule are ongoing, the filing reads, referencing unspecified documents that it has requested. Following a week-long extension, Sony has until Friday, January 27th, Dead Space Day, to move to either limit, quash, or otherwise respond to the subpoena. Alongside these developments, it was just recently revealed that NVIDIA and Google together expressed concerns to the FTC about Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Bloomberg cites sources familiar with the matter who claim that the two companies spoke to the FTC about their own issues with the potential deal. According to Bloomberg sources, both NVIDIA and Google provided information to support FTC's argument that the acquisition could give Microsoft an unfair advantage in cloud, subscription, and mobile gaming. However, one source also claimed that while NVIDIA made a case for the need for equal and open access to games, it did not directly oppose the acquisition. Some mustache twirling going on there. Microsoft continues to maintain that it wants to work with concerned parties in order to satisfy any concerns they may have about the deal. In a statement to Bloomberg, Microsoft spokesperson David Cuddy said, "We are prepared to address and have been proactively addressing issues raised by regulators or competitors to ensure the deal closes with confidence. We want people to have more access to games, not less." Guys, what do you think of this here? Like this is heavy, and
No, it's
I
not.
told
This is part of the legal process. I mean, this is
this is part of legal this is part of
Microsoft
legal
is
process.
in every right to subpoena Sony because Sony's the one that's screaming the loudest. I mean, Google can't talk right now because they're being sued by the Department of Justice for their marketing campaigns. They're having a monopoly on it, so like Google can't talk here. But I really don't think. I mean, this is just part of the civil process. Obviously, Microsoft wants to defend himself, and they have every right to. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Andre, your thoughts?
If I'm being truly honest, I may be a little ignorant and I don't fully understand what is going on.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I haven't heard a lot about this.
No, it's cool because like in all honesty, like I haven't really been bringing up a lot of this news because a lot of it is just a bunch of like ring around the.
Here it is. So Microsoft decides to buy Activision Blizzard. Some people say
okay.
Some people say that is kind of creating a monopoly. So it's like kind of like the time when Sprint wanted to buy T-Mobile or T-Mobile wanted to buy Sprint, whatever. Like that would have created kind of like a power vacuum in the cell phone, world, whatever. So, NVIDIA, Google decides, hey, you guys can't do that, but they're kind of like shouting quietly from the back row because Google's one to talk, Nvidia's one to talk, because they've done similar practices before.
Yeah,
But
Nvidia's doing it right now, price gouging the damn graphics cards.
yeah, exactly. So like they really, they could say, "Hey, you can't do that," and then run away. So like Sony's the one that's got the most to lose here because they're losing Call of Duty, and they're not saying it outright, but Call of Duty is the biggest selling franchise year after year after year. So there's a threat that they could lose that. Microsoft made concessions to say, okay, all right, if we can work out a deal, you'll get Call of Duty for a long time. But obviously, Sony doesn't want to pay money to Microsoft just to have the game on their system, even though you got to do what you got to do.
Is 10 years long enough, though? Is 10 years long enough?
I mean, you make these deals in certain lengths of time. I mean, who knows? In 10 years, Call of Duty could be washed up.
I feel like
you never
I feel
know.
It was washed up now. I feel like
you never know. I mean, at one point, Medal of Honor was one of the biggest selling first-person shooter franchises at the time.
Yeah.
And then Call of Duty came out of nowhere and just wiped them out of the water. So something could happen in like 5-10 years to the point where another first-person shooter comes out and just completely shoves Call of Duty out of the way. I mean, I don't see that happening, but it could happen. I mean, you never know.
So if I can get this straight, Microsoft bought Activision.
Well, no. They're trying to purchase Activision Blizzard.
Okay, no. and Google and
Nvidia,
and Sony
are like you can't do that. But in the end, Sony has the most to lose.
Yeah, so Sony's the one screaming.
Sony has the most to lose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In all honesty, the major thing is like if Microsoft has that. It also follows the heels of the fact that Microsoft acquired ZeniMax Bethesda, which was already a ridiculously big purchase.
That's what it was. Because I thought, I'm like, didn't Microsoft already make that deal? But it was Bethesda. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, and this goes back to the conversation we had earlier. Microsoft decided that they were going to get on the playground and flex, and stuff like that. And now they've got all, it's like the one thing bullies can't stand is when a bunch of the underdogs jump on them, and stuff like that. And that's what's going on right now with the whole, because now that Google and Nvidia have something to say, Nvidia has the highest market share in hardware, right now,
Yep.
like they beat the brakes off of AMD, and AMD's a very good competitor. Nvidia is also beating the brakes off of Intel because Intel decided they want to jump into the graphics game too now, stuff like that, so there's that, so also Nvidia is responsible for the hardware that powers the Nintendo Switch.
It just sounds like it's like a Super Smash fight with like all the competitors at this point.
Yeah, that's business.
I like that analogy.
In layman's terms, that's kind of what it sounds like.
So basically, Sony is the one screaming, "You can't do this." They're going in these echo chambers, screaming, "Microsoft can't do this." They're them. I think them and like maybe a couple people are filing a complaint with the FTC, saying that, or the FTC has taken it upon themselves, like, "Hey, we got to do some investigating to make sure this isn't kind of like unfair practices of any kind." Okay. Microsoft is just basically. It's like a rap battle where basically you throw something down, you say, come face me. So Microsoft that's what a subpoena means. Subpoena is basically Microsoft saying, if you have a problem with what we're doing, I want you to show up in court and explain to me why you think this is unfair.
Or what I'm doing is so wrong.
Or if what I'm doing is wrong, I want you to basically come under oath and tell me why. Tell me why that is. And that's a fair thing for Microsoft to do. If you're going to be that guy to say you can't do that, you need to be able to explain your case and explain your reasons why.
To back it up.
And if Sony comes in and puts down some really good points, then we got a case on our hands.
Yeah, the FTC, the EU, and all those other big places that have there's 4 regions that have weigh-ins on like when these major things go on because this can destabilize world economies if it's done wrong. and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly. So I mean, this is fair. Like I said, the FTC has intervened in a lot of instances like this. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
you know, like I said, is this actually going to go to an actual court, or are they going to settle out of it? I mean, who knows? Sony could like be like, nah, fuck it, forget it. You know,
I don't think Sony's gonna. I don't think Sony's gonna like give out. Just not right now. Not right now. You know,
no,
not
there's
when
going to
you.
be some. They're talking. Microsoft and Sony are talking to each other.
Oh, I'm sure they
You
are.
know,
Yeah,
Sony
yeah,
wants to make sure that that Sony's taken care of. You know,
yeah. That
so
is.
they
I
want to
agree.
work out this deal where it's like, hey, can we get some concessions of this and we'll let it go? You know,
Yeah, yeah. I agree. All
obviously
right. So
Sony's going to
yeah,
have to take the L, but you know, ultimately in the end,
Ye-
it's not going to affect their bottom line that much.
maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like Sony would be all right without Call of Duty. But that's just me. That's because I don't really care about
No, they
Call of
won't.
Duty.
No, they won't. If all of a sudden Sony did not have Call of Duty, that would kill them.
I feel like that would
That would effectively kill them.
If Sony didn't have COD, you would lose like half your player base. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be bad for Sony and COD because then Sony would lose a valuable game, which brings people into Sony, and COD would lose half its player base, which already it's losing half its player base because Modern Warfare 2 is ass, and there's tons of content creators who base their content around Call of Duty are like, yo, this game needs to be fixed. And I don't think
All those guys do. All those guys do is play Warzone. That's all those guys
exactly.
do.
But
Yeah, but
Warzone's in a
that's still-
really bad spot, right? So you already have diminishing numbers. So now if you take out PlayStation and Sony from that pool, it chops it right down to like a quarter.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of people that are just gonna like, oh, they're not putting it on PlayStation anymore. I guess I'll go buy an Xbox. There's a ton of people that will not do that.
Oh yeah,
You know?
no, for
So
sure.
you're gonna see probably systems like collecting dust in the homes because
Yeah.
okay, I guess I'm done playing Call of Duty now. And
Yeah.
Microsoft knows this, so that's why it's like, okay, all right, there could be a very significant chance that if we just take it upon ourselves, you know, we're gonna lose a significant amount of player base and we're not gonna make the money that we thought we would.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you know, like I said, I would see this happening behind closed doors. You know, Phil Spencer or like and all the bigwigs get together in a room, just hash it out.
Yeah, I think a civilized conversation should happen. Just all the big boys sit down, like, hey, we want this XYZ 1 2 3 yada yada yada. Right?
Yeah,
shake hands and walk away.
because if the FTC comes in, then it's gonna hurt. You know?
Then there's gonna be some
when Big Dad comes out and he's like, all right, both of you guys are fucked.
yeah, right.
Because I say so.
Yeah, now it's like you guys can handle it, but if the FTC drops, it's like everyone's gonna be freaking not happy.
I mean, Microsoft, I think, would get the brunt of it, but
I think so.
that's why Microsoft is like, okay, all right, we'll play ball.
Oh,
You can do Call of Duty. Fine.
That's the one. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I am taking note of. Microsoft is definitely trying to play ball. They are. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've made a concession to say, hey, you can have Call of Duty for 10 years, that's a pretty big concession.
But now it's like, sorry, my last bit about this is if they give them COD for 10 years, right? Now until 10 years, that means Sony would have to pump out, if I'm thinking about this correctly, a game every year or every other year, but that game would have to be so good that
Sony has Bungie. Sony has Bungie.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, but right? Bungie's already committed to being multi-platform.
Yeah, that's
true. Well, I mean, true,
Sony could turn around. Sony could turn around and say no, but
that breaks their agreement.
That would break the trust. Yeah.
What I'm going to say though is like, even though that is true that Sony that Bungie has made the commitment, you know, to be multi-platform, Sony still gets that money.
Yeah.
Sony still gets that money. Whereas if Microsoft, I don't understand why Microsoft isn't trying to, you know, like isn't just trying to be super amicable about this, because like even if it stays on PlayStation, which is their biggest rival, we all know this, they're going to get the money. They're going to. I don't understand. You know, like
Microsoft is being amicable.
They're being. Maybe I'm talking myself in a circle. Maybe I am.
I mean, you know, to even like use the point of, you know, you got Destiny here, you got Call of Duty here. Really, honestly, like I said, it's down to a numbers game.
Yeah, true. True.
So
Yeah, I guarantee you, people are going to be in my mentions tonight, calling me a Sony pony, which at this point I'm not. I'm not. I'm a fucking
Sony
I'm a fucking
pony.
PC.
sounds like you're being a Sony
I'm a
pony,
fucking
bro.
PC gamer. Like this thing isn't even plugged in right now. Like it's just sitting here on the desk.
Mm.
I can't
All right.
help. This is a complete sidebar, but I can't help but notice that Sackboy right to your
Yeah, that's
right.
That's my dog. Yeah.
Oh, it just makes me laugh every time I see it.
I've had this little guy since the launch of Little Big Planet.
That's hilarious. So funny.
Yep.
Honestly, we should have there should be like a bonus episode of like, okay, all right, say in the hypothetical situation, very, very hypothetical situation, Sony loses Call of Duty. Like all of a sudden they're just like, Microsoft's like, no, fuck you. What first person shooters can they pull out of their vault? Or what first person shooters could they buy and just throw everything in the kitchen sink at to try to challenge the behemoth that is Call of Duty?
If you guys want to have a conversation about this, I mean, I'll take.
The
some
one thing
time
that
off.
I can think of at the moment is Revive Killzone.
Yeah,
But-
that's my main one.
Yeah,
That's my main one right there.
But that would be, that'd be hard. But that's something that I'd be interested in if you guys were down.
They've got one staring them right in the fucking faces, and the cool thing is they have the in-house studio that can do it. Resistance, Fall of Man.
That's the other one. I'm like, what's the other game I couldn't think of? It's
The other
Resistance.
one, yeah.
That's what it was.
People have been begging. More people have been begging for a Resistance game than anyone has ever begged for a new Killzone game.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's people on both sides of the aisle there that want both. Like I said, the problem is that those developers have moved on. Guerrilla is making open world third person action adventure games. So is Insomniac.
Insomniac's making Marvel games,
pretty much. So,
and Ratchet and Clank, and Ratchet and Clank.
So, I mean, you could probably take that Ratchet and Clank team and make another Resistance, or, I know it doesn't happen that often, but sell the IP.
Yeah,
sell the IP to someone. Obviously someone in house, or whatever, or
acquire some of the 343. Nah, never mind. Never mind.
I mean, too much.
They have Bungie on
Imagine that Sony swoops in and says, "All right, fuck you, we're buying 343 Studios."
Jesus.
No, just buy the remnants of the studios.
Well, I mean, honestly, developers just move from studio to studio all the time. Mac Walters, he was one of the bigwigs at BioWare. He just left after 19 years. He wrote Mass Effect 2 and 3, and I think he was the lead project designer for Dragon Age 4. So
Inquisition.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. So
all right. We're gonna go ahead and move on because it is time for the speed run, which is our rapid fire segment of gaming news and events that we feel you should have on your radar. If you don't know how this goes, we're basically just going to throw them out there, and just so that you're in the know. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off here. Number one, Riot.
Who goes two? Who goes second?
Me.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
Okay, all right. You got it? Good. Riot says League of Legends source code has been stolen and is being held for ransom. Woo!
What in the fuck?
Riot Games says it has received a ransom demand after source code for 2 of its games was stolen during a cyber attack. We don't know which 2 they are. They just said 2 games. So
this happened to Cyberpunk.
Yeah. The studio confirmed on January 20th that its development environment had been compromised by a social engineering attack, a method which involves the physical manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. The attack led to the theft of source. Oh, we do have the information. This left the source code of League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, and a legacy anti-cheat platform. I think this is really what they were after, to break the anti-cheat platform. I think that's what they were after. And has temporarily affected Riot's ability to release new content. Last week, Riot cut 46 jobs as part of strategic shifts within a few teams, designed to sharpen its focus in several areas of its business. As of now, there's no news to say if the cuts that were made at Riot and this attack are related. And there you have it with that one. Moving on.
Number 2, Crystal Dynamics confirms the end of the best game ever made, Marvel's Avengers, later this year. Crystal Dynamics has announced that it will end support for Marvel's Avengers on September 30th, 2029. No, just kidding, 2023. And announced that it will publish at its final update on March 31st this year. However, single and multiplayer will continue to be available after September 30th. As a farewell bonus, every single in-game cosmetic that was once paid has now been made free of charge. Interesting. Well, cool for those who are playing for the first time. This is not cool for those who spent hundreds of dollars on skins. There's no refunds. Oh my god, what a slap in the face.
There's no refunds, and any money.
The game is still played single player. The game still can be played single player.
For now.
No, it always will be. I mean, it's a single player game. Obviously, they'll take the multiplayer components out, but you can still play it single player.
Okay. All right. Next.
Destruction All-Star Studio Lucid Games is working with Rare on Sea of Thieves. Independent Liverpool-based developer Lucid Games confirmed it has teamed up with Xbox's Rare in an update on its website and social media channels. It's been incredible supporting them on their thrilling pirate adventure, and we can't wait to see where this legendary voyage will take us, it said. Lucid is also currently supporting the development of Respawn's hit Battle Royale game Apex Legends, as well as the upcoming EA Sports PGA Tour. Now, Lucid Games, obviously Destruction All-Stars was a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so this is kind of funny to me. Yeah. That they're jumping over to work on an Xbox exclusive game, but, you know, they're an independent studio. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Hell yeah.
You, boo-boo.
True that. All right, next up, Returnal. Returnal has a PC release date as well as specs and features, which were all brought about in a trailer reveal. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced that the PC version of Returnal will be released on February the 15th, 2023. My God, that's right around the corner. The game's release date was revealed alongside its PC specifications and a new features trailer. The PC version of the game, which has been developed by UK-based Climax Studios, who is responsible for games like Silent Hill Origins, as well as Silent Hill Shattered Memories, adds support for ray trace reflections, in addition to the ray trace shadows supported on the PlayStation 5. NVIDIA DLSS and AMD FSR have been added, allowing gamers to dial up the frame rate without compromising on resolution. NVIDIA Image Scaling, better known as NIS, has also been added for those players who also want to see an increase in performance, but do not have the hardware to support DLSS or FSR, which FSR is Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which is available on AMD graphics cards. All right, and next up.
That was a lot of acronyms. Holy shit!
I know. That's why I tried to spell them out for everybody.
That's fair. NetEase publicly tears down WoW statue following Blizzard Rift. Chinese company NetEase has torn down a WoW statue outside its headquarters in an apparent symbolic gesture aimed at Blizzard. Talk about a hissy fit. After being unable to come to an agreement with NetEase over a renewal of its licensing deal back in November 2022, it was announced that Blizzard's games are set to be shut down in China in this month. Wow, I did not know that. Holy cow. The conflict between NetEase and Blizzard has seemingly not been resolved since, as in recent days, NetEase has been vocal again about its anger. NetEase dismantled the statue on Wednesday, live streaming the teardown of the WoW statue in the grounds of its Hangzhou headquarters via its official Naraka. I'm probably saying that wrong.
You get it right.
Yeah. Blade Point channel. The fact that they stream this is such big dick energy.
It really is. That is
holy cow. Yeah. Wow.
They're salty.
Yeah.
That, I mean, like, there's a picture of them. They're streaming it. Holy.
God. Yeah. For real.
I didn't know that you couldn't play any Blizzard games in China. That's wild to think.
No, I don't.
Is that
no? Like,
did I read that?
The game is published by a different developer.
In
China.
NetEase.
Like, China has such a strict law. I don't think they really allowed video games from outside the country until 2007.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's crazy. I don't even think like they were even like allowed. Like I honestly think there's like laws still to this day on like how long kids can play video games. I know there's like a 2-hour limit. There's a 2-hour limit on cell phones. I know that much.
I mean, China's way ahead of the curve then.
And there's a 30-minute limit on TikTok. Or 25-minute or 30 minute on TikTok.
Again, China, you're way ahead of the curve, please.
Well, yeah, I mean, would you like the government telling you how long you can spend your time on your phone? But yeah, like this was kind of funny. I don't know if you guys remember when Blizzard had, what was it? One of the like League of Legends tournament, and someone came on stage to say "Free Hong Kong."
What? I do remember that. I do remember that.
And Blizzard came out and redacted it from the show, took down all the posts of it and said, we do not condone this kind of public display of, whatever your ideologies are. So a lot of people were saying, oh, you're just pandering to China because, the game is making a shit ton of money in China. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yep. Well, that is all the news that we have for you guys tonight. Honestly, compared to last week, this week was kind of crazy. Even though it seemed that it was more like Microsoft heavy this week. Like, like I really tried to look for news, like, across Sony and PC and stuff, and it was basically quiet. I almost dipped into some Nintendo Switch news, but this ain't the show for that.
Waves, holy.
Yeah. So. Yep. So just to throw out there real quickly, if you'd like to ask us our thoughts and opinions on anything in gaming, tweet us over at crossroads_VGP or email us at crossroadspspod@gmail.com. And your question may get read here on the show, and you hear what any of us brainiacs think about your question. We might surprise you. All right. So we're on to the big topic for tonight, and that means we are almost done with the show here. So let's get into it, guys. Did you guys have a chance to peep what I was talking about here?
I didn't know there was a big topic, so this is brand new to me.
Yeah, I legit thought we were done after the speed run. I didn't even know there was a big topic.
Is that it right here in the notes?
I can edit the show right now. I can edit the segment right now, and we can write it out. We can close it out.
Is this it? Are games too far? Are games announced too far in advance? Is that what we're talking about?
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Look,
we can cut the show right now because I feel like I can go. I feel like I need to go to bed.
I mean, we can save this.
Okay, sure.
You want to save it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, cool.
You want to save it? Okay, let me.
It's something I've talked about before, but yeah, we can save it. Yeah.
You know what? What we need to do. I know we're recording right now, but this is not going to make it into the show. We just need to sit. We just need to have like a brainstorming meeting. You know what? Mm-hmm. Let's look at the calendar real fast. You guys want to take the first week of February off?
Sure.
Which would that would mean our go date would be the 7th for that episode. So that week would be the 7th. So you want to have that week off?
February 7th off.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The week of the 7th off.
That's the day that Harry Potter comes out. Perfect.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you pre-order the deluxe, you get like 72 hours gameplay before the actual date comes out. So.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that off. We can either revisit this topic at another time, or we can just say to hell with it, whatnot. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap the show then. All right, how's that sound, guys?
Okay.
All right, so 138:01. All right, here we go. All right. Well, that's our show for tonight. As always, we'd like to give a big thanks to you for tuning in to the Crossroads podcast, and thanks to everyone that just has stuck with us along this road. It's fun. Like, we like doing this, and we like coming back to entertain you guys. Before we head out, here's a couple things that you may want to check out. Over for your consideration at bossrush.net. Check these out. They'll tide you over while we work on the next episode of Crossroads. And we start off with, let's just talk about it. We've got Samus Aran, Nathan Drake, Kratos, even the Chief. What do all these guys have in common? They are some
great characters. And Josh Martinez wants to know which video game character is the most memorable to you in the January 18th edition of the Boss Rush banner. Also, we talked about this earlier in the show, like particularly Stoy talked about how he's tired of it. But the Persona series has seen a major resurgence as of late, thanks to the current re-releases on current gen systems. Our friend Brad Melville asks, "What do you want to see in the next Persona game?" I can already read Stoy's mind. Less dialogue.
Far less dialogue.
Also, to add, the most memorable character ever is Chris Redfield in RE5, hands down.
Story. Who's your most memorable character?
Like in any series?
Doesn't matter. Just who's the most memorable character for you?
Really, you have to ask me this, Andre. Tell this man who my most memorable character from any video game is.
Andre, if you know this,
I mean, Goldilocks himself, right? Leon Kennedy?
Leon motherfucking S. Kennedy.
Leon fucking Kennedy. Goldilocks himself, the man that kiosks anyone.
I'm sorry if we're just gonna do this whole. If we're just gonna
this
have
man survived a plane crash. Did Chris Redfield do that? No, he didn't.
Chris Redfield punched a boulder, though.
He punched a boulder. That's cool. But this man survived a plane crash. Walked out of it, ready to fight zombies.
Like, and guess what? Jill Valentine can kick both their asses. There. I said it.
Did Jill Valentine survive a plane crash? Jill Valentine didn't even get a chance to fight Leon Kennedy, so that's a moot point.
Has Jill Valentine ever effortlessly jumped out of a window, combat rolled, and then kicked someone in the face? I don't think so. I do not think so.
Well, it doesn't matter. Jill Valentine's not the most memorable character for me. She's one of my favorites, but she's not the most memorable character for me.
We need another game with Jill Valentine in it. God damn it! Like whatever Resident Evil game they're working on next, put her in there, please.
We do. All right.
She hasn't had her own game. I think since Revelations.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that was like shoehorned on the DS, the 3DS.
Yeah. I'd say 3. 3 was her last big.
3 was the last big one. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's wait, we were talking about Persona. How do we get back to Andre?
You talked about most memorable characters.
Damn it.
That's what I did.
Yeah, we were talking about Persona though. Cuz basically just I
diverted that. Yeah.
Our friend Brad Melville just asked the question, what do you want to see in the next Persona game? So check that out in the January 20th edition of the Boss Rush banner. And lastly, our friend Ouch, who I need to try and get him onto the show. That dude is hilarious. Ouch brings us the tips and techniques for Fallout 4 that'll show you how to play as Grognak the Barbarian in Fallout 4. So check all that out over at bossrush.net for even more interesting news and unique topics. Swing by the website and check out all the things our talented writers, content creators, and contributors are serving up on the site, including myself and Mr. Stoyovich. Yep. If you'd like to keep the conversation going with us, you can find Crossroads, the Crossroads Video Game Podcast on Twitter at Crossroads_VGP. If you enjoyed tonight's show, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a new episode when it comes out. And also leave us a review and a 5-star rating if you listen to us on the podcast side. The 5-star rating if you enjoyed the show, if you like us, enough.
You will leave a 5-star review.
Yep. All right. Hey, everyone. This has been episode 108 of the Crossroads Podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us. You're awesome. As a partner of the Boss Rush Network, go out there, play games, be better, and please come back and join us for our next all-new episode of the Crossroads Podcast. Have a great night.
Later.
Later.